A radio talk show host and her husband revealing a shocking medical diagnosis. Julia Fellow of 620 WTMJ is preparing to do whatever it takes to help her husband after he was diagnosed with early-onset Parkinson's disease. CBS 58's Michelle Fiore talked with the couple today.
16 years ago at a Wausau TV station, this work romance bloomed.
Oh, I had a huge crush on him. Like, he was my photographer. So, and then I noticed like the muscles on his arm and I was like, woo!
The couple moved markets, ultimately landing in Milwaukee, where Julia Fellow now co-hosts Afternoons on 620 WTMJ. Her husband, Jason Klappa, is with Visit Milwaukee's Good Things Brewing.
As a director of photography, running cameras and stuff, I do a lot with both hands.
But 2 years ago, Klappa's left hand seemed off.
I noticed, like, tapping along to music in the car, you know, it's like my hand would just sort of run out of steam. Even like cooking, you know, whisking eggs or trying to do things with your hand, like I couldn't move the whisk very fast.
Doctors initially suspected a pinched nerve. Physical therapy helped, but
there's something in my gut that just sort of said, you know, it doesn't really explain it. Sort of felt like my gait was off.
After a series of tests, including this one that looked at the dopamine in his brain, a shocking diagnosis.
Just looked at me and said, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm concerned you have early-onset Parkinson's disease. I was in total shock and denial about that you have that. You know, I just kind of stopped and went, I'm 39, no way.
It was horrible. And, you know, that night he asked me, will you put your hand on my chest while I fall asleep? And I did. And then he fell asleep and he did a little snore. And I cried all night. I cried all night.
But Jason and Julia learned to have hope.
Early onset progresses much slower. It, you know, typically responds well to medication. And, you know, we can get you much closer to normal. It's nowhere near a death sentence.
A year later, Klappa is exercising more and working to regulate his body through these daily medications.
Parkinson's is not just a tremor. It's a whole lot of movement, non-movement, digestive. It can present in a lot of different ways.
And the couples joined the Parkinson's Foundation to help others.
How much of your fight is for not only your job, but for Julia, for your relationship?
Oh, I would say all of it. I mean, that was one thing, you know, I didn't want, oh, this is rough, I'm sorry. You know, nobody wants to be a burden. So that was one of those things, why the first day you found out the test, you know, why it was so rough. Nobody wants to be a burden.
He's the reason why I breathe every day, so I'm more than happy to help in any way.
Jason's hoping when he turns 41 in January, he'll be better at regulating his medications. He says doctors call Parkinson's a snowflake disease because symptoms are different in different people.